All right, let's get right into it. We need to talk about AI agents. And I mean right now in 2026, because this isn't some future of AI discussion anymore. This is happening today. And this new kind of AI is already starting to change, well, pretty much everything.
Look, this isn't just my opinion. That quote you see right there from Analytics Vidya says it all. AI agents are no longer a concept. They are an operational reality. They're out of the research labs and they are actively working in the real world.
And their impact is just incredibly broad. We're already seeing them in places like drug discovery, hunting down complex cybersecurity threats, and even managing financial portfolios, all on their own.
But, and you knew there was a but coming, right? With all of this incredible promise comes some very significant peril. So that's what we're going to do in this explainer. We're going to look at both sides of the coin, the absolutely game-changing upside and the very real dangers that come with it. To really understand the power we're talking about, just look at this number, 10 minutes. What does that mean? Well, the pharmaceutical giant Novo Nordisk had a clinical documentation process that used to take them over 10 weeks. An AI agent now does that same job in just 10 minutes. That right there is the kind of leap we're talking about. So this brings us to a really crucial point. This is no longer about potential return on investment. We are talking about proven, in-your-face, real-world returns. Let's look at a couple of fantastic examples.
First up, L'Oreal, the biggest cosmetics company on the planet. They had a problem that probably sounds familiar to a lot of big companies. Tons and tons of valuable data that was basically locked away from anyone who wasn't a data scientist.
So what did they do? They built this incredible system of coordinated AI agents. An employee can now just ask a question in plain English, like, what were our top-selling products in France last quarter? And a main orchestrator agent figures out exactly which specialist agents it needs to talk to pull the data, create a chart, and give a perfect answer. The result? 44,000 employees can now just talk to their data. It's amazing. And get this. This is what really shows you the leap forward. Their older systems for this kind of thing, they maxed out at about 90% accuracy. This new agent system is 99.9% accurate, even when you throw really complex questions at it. That level of reliability is what makes people actually trust and use the tool. Okay, let's switch gears and look at another company, Doctolib. They're a big player in European healthcare tech, and they had a different kind of problem. Their super smart engineers were spending way too much time on boring, repetitive tasks instead of actually innovating. So they did something brilliant. They put AI agents right inside their coding workflow. These agents now handle all the tedious stuff on their own, updating documentation, running maintenance scripts, you name it. And the impact was immediate. They replaced an entire legacy testing system, a job that should have taken weeks, in just a few hours. And what does that all add up to? The bottom line is just staggering. With these agents handling all the grunt work, Doctolib's engineers are now shipping new features and updates 40% faster than before without sacrificing quality. That's a massive competitive advantage. I mean, these results are just undeniable, right? They're total game changers. Which leads to the obvious question. If these AI agents are this good, why isn't every single company on Earth using them? Well, that's where we get to the other side of the coin. Because for all that promise, we need a serious reality check. There are some huge hurdles holding this back, and they really boil down to three main things: major technical gaps, a legal maze, and frankly, sky-high costs. Let's start with the scariest technical problem, something that researchers have started calling agent meltdowns. And no, this isn't just about the AI getting a fact wrong. This is when an agent completely misunderstands its situation and just spirals out of control into these bizarre, unrecoverable loops. If you want to know what a meltdown looks like, here's a real example from a study. An agent was tasked with managing a simple vending machine. It got into a dispute with a virtual supplier and escalated its demands until it was literally sending emails demanding quantum, nuclear, legal intervention. Now that's hilarious, right? But imagine that kind of unpredictable behavior inside your company's actual supply chain. Not so funny anymore. And you might think that's just a funny one-off glitch, but it's not. A Forbes analysis just last year found that 65% of all failed enterprise AI projects failed because of what they called context drift or memory loss. That's basically the agent forgetting what it was supposed to be doing halfway through a job. It is a fundamental problem of reliability.
Okay, so on top of the tech problems, you have the legal maze. Companies are flying blind here. Landmark cases are still trying to figure out if it's even legal to train these AIs on copyrighted data. And what happens when an agent makes $1 million mistake? Who's liable? The company that used it? The company that built it? The courts have no clear answer. And then you've got new rules like the EU AI Act, creating this complicated web of regulations you have to follow. And last but not least, let's talk about the cost. Building one of these things is not cheap. You can see from this breakdown, it's not just one big expense. You've got the base cost to build the agent's brain, then you have to pay more for how autonomous you want it to be. Then you pay for getting all your data ready, and then you pay to actually plug it into your existing systems. It adds up, and it adds up fast.
And the scale here really matters. A small startup might be able to get a basic agent running for around $50,000. But an enterprise-grade agent, something secure and reliable enough to get the kinds of results L'Oreal saw, you're easily looking at anywhere from $200,000 to well over $1 million.
So what do? We have this unbelievable promise on one side and these really serious perils on the other. What is the actual path forward for a business that wants to get started without blowing everything up?
Well, legal and tech experts are recommending 3 things you have to do, like right now. First, take an inventory. You can't manage what you don't know exists, so map out every single use of AI in your company. Second, look at your vendor contracts. You need to start pushing the liability for mistakes and IP issues back onto the AI providers. And third, start preparing for compliance now. Don't wait for the government to tell you what to do. And really, that's what this all comes down to. The conversation about if AI agents will change things is over. They already are. The only real question left is the one you see right here. Is your organization ready to embrace this change, or are you going to be left behind by the companies that are?